when you go live, sometimes it's delayed on what the recording actually is. So I see it's live now. I'll just say this, because if you happen to be joining us live, or if you happen to be watching the YouTube version of the live broadcast, which we call Stormfront Freaks Raw, welcome. This is the version of just all recording. You're going to get everything. You get all the breaks. You get everything that's mentioned before we start, in between when we start, when we finish. So who knows what you might catch. We'll try and keep it as tame as possible.
Sometimes that could be one of the best parts of the show. You never know.
It can be. At times it can be. And usually these are the times, too. If one of the things I've started doing is, so I edit the video, because I put an edited version now on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV that's edited. So I cut out the beginning, the end. I put the new beginning and ending that Gabe Cox did for us. Dina, if you remember seeing those videos, He created some awesome videos. So that's what we put on our broadcast edit, which then I send to William Cole at Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV to air. So we're airing every Thursday night. So on the nights that we have a live show, they are showing a rerun. So tonight they're showing, I just edited this last night, they're showing episode 39 with John Gordon, which was the show I wasn't on, actually. Mark, you were moderating that show.
Yeah, that one was fun.
Was that the one where all the kids were cutting loose?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and so I just edited that one. So that, and then on the nights on the weeks we don't have a show, he's showing the most recent. So like the one we're doing tonight. Thanks, babe. The one where my wife just brought me a root beer flirt twisted shot.
Ooh.
So
Wow,
it's got
look
like
at
root
that.
beer schnapps and some vanilla.
You're into
vodka or
this
something,
interesting
so.
stuff now. I like
You look tan too. Were you on
Right.
vacation?
No, I've got a lot of sun this summer. I'm outside a lot more, and we just, well, that wouldn't have made sense. We had a Miami University had a football game Saturday against Marshall, and it was delayed. The start was delayed 2.5 hours because of lightning. So the NCAA has a rule, basically, that when there's lightning within an 8-mile radius of the venue, you have to delay all on-field activity for 30 minutes. And this happened a couple years ago, and it was almost a 2.5-hour delay, but the game had already started, so this was in-game that we had that delay. So this time it was before the game even started, and it pushed the 3:30 game time to 6 p.m.
Wow.
game
wow.
time.
Wow.
But it always creates a mess. I mean, I don't care how good your emergency action plan is at that point.
Yeah.
There's still things that weren't perfect, and we need to update. And I see Daniel's looks
getting
like
ready.
he's coming on.
He must be playing. He must be
Mess
plugging
is
in.
coming, right?
Yeah, Maz should be coming, and Brady sounded like he's on it. He must be flying a lot. He must
Yeah,
be
he must
traveling
be.
all the time, because he's always coming late to the party. So I don't know about that, but Daniel, we see that you're on, but we see that you're muted. There he is.
Hey,
I'm
Daniel.
muted for a reason. So this is a negotiation tactic here. We have an electrician on site who's about to take a circuit break at 6. Of course, when that happens, we lose all internet control. We have to go on a Wi-Fi connection. Not ideal. So after some very careful negotiation, he's delayed his work by about an hour and a half, and we'll have a broadcast today.
There we go.
Otherwise,
Thank
for
you.
some
That's the
reason,
way
we
to
would
do
have
it.
lost power. So not only have I done a negotiation, we've got a broadcast today as well. So lighting setup, I'm not happy with the color balance. I was going to do a multi-camera shoot just to outdo everyone, but you know what? I'm pretty happy with what I got.
You're
I'd like to get a
freak.
quick audio level check to make sure you've got a good system in place. We did a check yesterday, making sure that's all working.
Yes, we can hear you well.
Yeah, it sounds good.
How's your framing there?
Yeah,
little
you
bit
look
off.
good. Yep.
I look
No,
good.
you're
Yeah,
good.
Thanks a lot.
You're good.
Yeah.
Well, g'day, everybody. How you doing?
That's why
Good
we
morning.
log in.
Good morning to
Good
you.
morning to you. Yes, absolutely.
So now I'm running 3 screens here, which is great because I get you have you on the side as well. Magnificent.
So what are you going to be looking at? What are you looking at, Daniel?
Well, I've got a broadcast camera. I'm running a PDW F850 camera as my webcam.
You
Not the
geek.
type of thing you get at Best Buy.
No.
It does
You're a
look good.
geek.
No, well,
Love
look,
it.
I know the color. I know the color balance is off. I look orange. I look like an Oompa Loompa right now. I can see
No,
myself.
trust me, we know
Not-
orange
not
in this
so much,
country. You
actually,
don't look
no.
orange.
No, that looks terrible. I want an honest opinion. How does that look at your end? Because I think
don't.
it's
You
over.
don't
look
orange at all.
That's
That,
Irish.
wait,
down a
when
bit.
It's-
you
well,
turn the light down, you look.
There,
That's a
that's
little better.
that's a little better.
You look a little.
I
Now
look-
you got a little tan too.
Now you
I
get
look
good.
tan, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's completely wrong, and I reckon we've got a minute to go. I can adjust that pretty quickly. I'll never live with myself otherwise. It's just not going to
Can we
happen.
get a white balance? Can we get a white balance?
And funny enough, I actually did do a white balance. It just looked weird through the preview. Now that should be. Now that's set. Oh my god. Okay.
That actually did get a little more red. Yeah.
I think. Yeah. No. This is what I'm going to do. Just give me a second. We're just going to dial in manually.
Are you wearing makeup?
I'm just one of those people who just has to get everything
Yeah.
right.
Did you? So you said you were going to put makeup on. Did you put makeup on?
You know what I did? I did 3.99. I had
You're
negotiation
crazy.
with who I needed to speak to get power and lighting. I mean, I could have done the whole thing on battery. I've done it before, but what can you
Wow.
do? We
Well,
had power, we have
you're the
enchantment.
negotiator, and we appreciate that. That's great.
We got a broadcast.
All right.
Okay,
So
so we've got good levels. I look like an Oompa Loompa, but that's fair. That's
You do
fine.
not.
okay.
We have an Oompa Loompa here in this
You've,
country. You don't look anything like it.
Hey, Daniel, are you getting? You talked about the names on the bottom of people's picture when
I
they.
can,
Are you
I
getting
can
that
actually
now?
now see that clearly, which is good.
So you see Dina, and then we have two. So we have two Marks. So one is Mark Johnson, who's kind
That'd
of
be me
our,
right
our
here.
live producer. So we call him MJ.
Yep.
And then we have Mark Massaro, that we
I'll
call
call him
Maz. Maz.
Maz.
Maz.
You like Australia, like how we abbreviate every single name.
You
I'm
guys
going
do
to do
that
one
a
more
lot, huh?
adjustment because I'm just like that. So if you like that.
So are you Danny? Or
For the rest of my natural life, I'll be like, damn, why was your color temperature set to 2700? Well, you know what? There's a reason for it.
I don't
This
even
is
know what
I
you're
do.
talking about.
Yeah, I can see it changing. a
He's
little
way
bit
above
there
our
now.
heads.
He's got a
There
supernova
you
in
go.
his room.
Now you're talking.
I,
almost
that's
there.
better. Yeah.
Because see, I know you're a pre-record. We can sit there and delay everyone. They go, come on, just start already. What's Daniel trying to do? Well, he's trying to be a perfectionist. Would you expect anything less than a perfect color temp?
And by the way, you've got some fans watching too that are talking about Mr. Perfection. So.
That's a bit better. What do you
Mr.
reckon?
Perfection.
Good.
It's not right. I'm
Beautiful.
not about 100 Kelvin.
There you go.
This is going to be a fun day.
Because what time is it over there, Daniel?
It's 11 a.m.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, okay.
Yes.
Is
yes.
it 11 a.m. on Thursday or Friday?
Well, I'm going to put it this way. Everyone in America, don't worry. Tomorrow will exist.
Yeah.
All right, so it is the future. We're talking to
Yep,
the future.
This is our
Wait,
call
your
from the
answer?
future. Yep.
Wait,
We
what
do
were the
time
lottery
travel
numbers?
on this show.
What were the
That's
lottery
sweet.
numbers?
Lottery numbers 3, 14, 26, 18, 9, 11, and
You know someone's
sweet.
playing them.
if that comes true, I want half a card, please.
Could you imagine if it did? Oh my God.
No.
Oh, that's
All right,
hysterical.
Maz. Hey, Maz, tap your mic. You're good. All right, I think everybody's good. MJ, correct?
Yeah,
Get
sounds
everybody's
good to
mic.
me, I think.
Okay. All right, so here's what we'll do. We'll get started. I'll do the intro. We'll talk. I'll briefly do the Helicity Designs comment. We'll do the. Excuse me. What are you drinking? Brady is not here yet, so he will not be included on that. And Daniel, I will not ask you what are you drinking. You can bring.
No, you can. There's a story behind it.
Okay.
Oh, okay, good.
There we go.
Yeah,
Let's
okay,
do
the
this.
party ready.
Let's do this. Let's do this. So we don't get bogged down into what you're drinking. How about if when I turn it over to Dina to introduce you after the "What are you drinking"
That's
segment,
a fantastic idea.
she'll introduce you, and then she can maybe that can be one of your first questions, Dina. So what are you
I think
drinking?
that's
Anything?
A very good idea.
You're in
Okay.
Australia.
That
What
works.
are you drinking? Something? Are you drinking a Foster's? You could maybe ask that stupid question. That might be good. All right. So we'll do that, and then Dina, you're good on the intro.
Yes.
You ready? Okay. So then we'll just do the questions. I'll finish, Daniel, with asking kind of how people can follow you on social media, or what's the best way people can follow you or reach you. Then we'll do the lightning round, and we'll take a break after that. So that'll be, I'd say, maybe 40 minutes after the hour, around there. I'll let everybody know, Daniel said, as you've probably already figured out, he could get going. We might get going on some fun stuff tonight. I don't know what. But we might, and if we do, and we go a little bit longer, MJ. Whatever, I'll play it by ear, and we'll cut in when we
So
need to.
lay off the time is what you're saying.
No, you can still mention the time just so I know. It's
Right.
it's a great reminder to me because I'm not always thinking of that. So you can
MJ,
still
put
do
the-
that, but we might
put the
go.
pressure on. Just drive us nuts.
There you
If
go.
Daniel gets into Saturday, we're in trouble, though. Okay.
That's true.
All right.
That's true. All right,
no.
so
It's okay.
so
Good
we'll
luck.
do this. So everybody good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Everybody's good. All right. I'll go ahead and count in because that always makes the video editing a little easier. Is that fair, MJ?
I don't care. Go ahead.
Okay, very good. All right. Yeah, let's see. We should be good. All right, here we go in 3, 2. All right, hey, welcome to the most entertaining weather podcast on your listening and viewing device. This is the Stormfront Freaks podcast. We always want to let you know, hey, if this is your first time listening or watching, if you're a Stormfront Freaks virgin, we hope you enjoy the show, but we also hope that you get a chance, if you did like the show, go to stormfrontfreaks.com, and you can find some of our previous shows, all the previous shows. This is 61, so we have 60 other episodes with great guests from the weather industry, people like Jen Carfagno, Harold Brooks. We've had on the show. You're guaranteed to find someone that you know and love that's been through this already before. But as I mentioned, this is episode 61, and for the first time on this show, so we've gone 60 episodes without ever having someone from Australia on the show. So that's kind of crazy. But we have a storm chaser from Aussie, from down under. We got Daniel Shaw with us tonight. So we're looking forward to chatting it up with Daniel. He's going to be getting the lightning round treatment, and we'll also be bringing some weather fools to the table, as well as bringing a new segment, guys. We've got tonight, we're going to have weather trolls. This is a new segment we've got. You're certainly not going to want to miss it because it's either going to really suck or it's going to be outstanding. I don't think there's going to be an in-between on that one. But before we get to that, I want to let you know we're excited to be partnered up with HelicityDesigns.com, which is the leader in weather-themed clothing and accessories for the storm freak in you. If you haven't seen these guys, go to HelicityDesigns.com. Besides their new Weather Geek Club that you can get in to earn rewards, they've also got an upcoming Storm Crate, which what this is, it's a Weather Geek subscription box. So you subscribe to this, and every month or every other month, however he decides to do it, you'll get a subscription box with all kinds of sweet weather-themed gear that you can be a part of. They also carry the exclusive line of Stormfront Freaks podcast gear, like the lightweight and flexible Best Damn Weather Show shirt. So this thing comes in various heather colors. You guys know those shirts that are like heather t-shirts, and it's got a little poly in it, so it's nice and stretchy and thin. I love those things. But you can get, listen to this, you can get a 5% discount on your entire order when you use the code SFF. So SFF for Stormfront Freaks. Use that SFF code at checkout, and you'll get 5% discount on everything. You can find all of that at HelicityDesigns.com. So let's go ahead and introduce our co-hosts. It's always happy hour here at Stormfront Freaks Bar. We're going to start with MJ. What are you drinking at the bar tonight, sir?
Got a simple Angry Orchard hard apple cider.
It's getting close to fall. It's hot as hell, though.
I know.
I'm not
God.
feeling fall, but it is September, so that's about apple time.
It's snow on Pikes Peak.
That's true. Maz, what are you drinking?
I am drinking out of my Nebraska Cornhuskers cup.
Good old standard.
Water, because I just came from a pub. I need to drink water.
Really?
Yeah, we were having a men's church group there. That's the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you Catholic?
I've heard that excuse.
Are you Catholic?
I had a no. I'm
You're
probably
not,
the
okay.
only non-Catholic Italian you'll probably run into.
What?
Oh, interesting. Dina, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm just drinking wine out of my cool. Check it.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman glass.
Yeah, Wonder Woman. For those
Like West
listening,
Virginia.
she has a Wonder Woman wine glass.
I do.
All right. Well, hey, let's go ahead, Dina, since we're on you. Let's go ahead and get to our guest and introduce our Aussie tonight.
All right. Tonight we welcome Daniel Shaw, an Australian storm chaser. Daniel often chases severe weather in Sydney and captures events for the local media. He serves as news director for Severe Weather Australia, and every year he travels to the United States between April and June to seek out some of the world's most powerful storms. So if you're in Australia and it's I think you said 11 a.m., are you drinking anything over there?
Well, yes. A warning to all viewers in advance, this might get funny, it might get sad. At any point you can turn off or thumbs up, whatever you like to do. Plain water. Now, there's a story behind this. Plain water is what I call water. We're in Outback Steakhouse, myself and my friend Jeremy Holmes, we're chasing plain water. We go, sit down, order a steak. Waitress comes up. We're in Cheyenne, Wyoming in America. Here comes an Australian to Outback Steakhouse. Yes, I know. Just go with this one. I asked for plain water. The waitress, because of my accent, it's not that strong. It's not like I said, "G'day, how you going? Can I get some plain water?" I said, "Can I have some plain water?" It's a little bit neutral. She's confused. She goes and asks the manager, "What is plain water?" And Australian's asking for plain water. She thought I said pine water. Half the staff go into asking the waiters. The manager has to come across and ask us, what's plain water? And the Australians asking us for a plain water. Anyway, 15 minutes later, more like 4, but they come back and they say, "We don't have any pine water. We're so sorry." And we're going, "Oh my God."
Oh my God.
The story behind plain water is pine water. Now, a little bit later, I think the next day we're chasing, we find Piney Creek, myself and Jeremy Holmes. We go and speak to this parks guy. We find the source of pine water and we took a photo and found
beautiful.
Oh, nice. My God.
That's the story about plain water. Just go into any Outback Steakhouse and ask for plain water and they'll be confused.
Guys, that's what I'm drinking next episode, by the way, some pine water.
We got to see if we can find it on Amazon or something.
I want rights to that.
Yeah, so Daniel, question for you. I think that I and many would actually like to know. So obviously you're a storm chaser, and obviously you have been to I shouldn't say obviously, but you've been to the plains, Great Plains before every year. Since when? When did you start coming here? What year?
Oh, I have to think about it. I think 2004 was my very first trip to the States, and Mum, God bless her, said, "Hey, you should do a storm chasing tour." I already chased storms in Australia. I chased it for the media. Chased it locally. I never really put much thought into it. And 2004, I was sort of like, "Oh, wow, this is what a real storm looks like." Went back in 2006, teamed up with Australia's one of the most respected storm chaser in the country, Jimmy DeGuara. He really taught me a lot. Great appreciation for him. And we chased together. And I was terrified, absolutely terrified. I mean, I thought I'd chased news before. I've seen everything. Nothing can compare to what you see out there. A lot of people go out to the plains and think, you know what, you'll be fine. You're not. You need good experience. 2007, I came back as just a little bit of a holiday. Baby amount of storm chasing. 2008, 9, 10 with Charles Edwards for a month at a time with Cloud9 Tours. And Charles was great enough to take me under his wing and teach me forecasting and close quarter storm interception. 2011 was my first real independent trip where I bought my own car in America and started to chase and do spotting. But it took many, many years of errors, mistakes.
But tell me, what's the weather? What are the storms like in Australia? What's storm chasing like there? How does it differ from
It's
from
tricky.
Here in the States?
We have a lack of road networks here. Storms move sort of out to sea or inland, but you can't get to them. I mean, you can, just depends where you are. But for me, I got to pay maybe $26 in road tolls. It takes me 2.5 hours to get out of Sydney to actually go and chase a storm. So what I typically do is I just go to my local hill and wait for it to go past. And my real chasing is done in America. This is just baby stuff, I guess you could say.
Storm watching. What are the storm like? Are you getting tornadoes down there? How many? What are they like?
I've seen one water spout in my life.
Okay.
Off the coast once in, God, I've been chasing since I was 11 effectively. One water spout, a few supercells, one tornado supercell I've chased once off the edge of Kurnell, hit the water refinery. Very, very rare, but I never saw it. You need to go to America.
What part of Australia are you from? Because it's like the size of the United States, isn't it? Australia is huge.
Very, very similar, but most of our land is inhabitable because there's just no water out there. It's just all desert.
No pine water.
Pine water.
That's all you need is pine water. But you guys get tropical cyclones too. Have you gotten any of that on film?
I don't chase cyclones because they're prolonged events. Once there's a cyclone, some of my friends do. Our Assistant Chief of Staff, Justin Noonan, Andy Barber, two of my good friends up in Queensland do. Chris Nitzo from my cyclone chasers. We've got some great people we look after and help with Severe Weather Australia and manage their content, and they chase cyclones. But they're prolonged events. They get stuck there for 3 or 4 days or up to a week. So we do have major flooding events. We do have major bushfire events. They're scary. And of course, everything in between wants to kill you. Even the spider that's probably crawling my wall wants to. Probably looking
Can you
at me
imagine getting some storm video with like some kangaroos in this? That would be cool.
That's quite common, but you got to watch out normally because you come back at night and kangaroos run across the road. You're just going to hit them. I mean, these things are stupid. They're wonderful, adorable little creatures. But I mean, one of my chief of staff for Queensland, Jamie Nicol, he's coming back home. A kangaroo runs into his car when he's stopped. They're that stupid. So
it's almost like the deer here in the United States.
Yeah.
They're like deer that aim for you when you're stationary. I mean,
I know, that's pretty stupid.
So the hazard, even the cute creatures want to kill you.
How about like haboobs? You guys get any haboobs, things like that down
Easy
in
now.
Australia?
Dust storms, they're going to be a lot more common because we've had a big drought. New South Wales, Queensland, parts of. We're in a big drought at the moment, much like California. So that's an issue at the moment, but nothing quite like we see, my friend Mike Olbinski. You're not going to see that in Australia very often, more so in Arizona, just due to the way those storms work. But they do happen, just not very often.
So
how do people?
Go ahead, Dina. Go ahead.
How do people like get into watching storms? Like in the United States, I think people love video of storm chases. Like how is that in Australia? Is it any different?
It's a much smaller community. It's a much smaller community, but because there's very little road network and storms move quickly, you're not going to get a Colorado supercell that sits and rotates for 7 hours. You're going to see a storm, goes past you in 20 minutes, that's it. You go to the restaurant, you have dinner, you go home and go sleep. That's your storms. You're looking at outflow, shelf clouds. Melbourne yesterday, some of our members, Severe Weather Australia members, got some beautiful photos in Victoria. That's the state to the south, far south of Australia. Not Tasmania, but close to it. Beautiful state. And that was just a shelf cloud that came through. So they're your biggest features. Supercells, a Queensland, northern New South Wales feature, but nothing quite like America. Nothing.
So when you decided to come to the States, Daniel, to chase, you mentioned tours, but my question is, how did you finance the trip here? Was it a business? Was it a business decision? Did the business help support that? Was the tour part of supporting that, or was it just out of your pocket?
Well, no, I joined Cloud9 Tours as a guest just to learn how not to get myself killed.
Sure.
I did it
Which
because
is a good place to
after
start.
what I saw in 2006, I was out of my depth. I thought I could take on anything. The answer was no. I was scared by storms. I was in the car terrified in 2006. It took a long time to get the confidence up to learn how to forecast, learn how to do close quarter interception. And in 2013, you know what happened to me. So the thing, even when you're cautious, things can happen. And I'm the first to admit to that.
Absolutely.
You've got to be humble about what happens out there. The fact is, anyone who says, I can predict a storm, I know exactly what's going to happen. You can get pretty close. I've forecasted things and it's happened right in front of me. But sometimes it's just straight pot luck. But storms, when they're HP and they're dangerous, know when to back away. You don't always need that photo or that video. Sometimes you need to just back off.
I like your video because you type in there, well, this was a mistake that I will make again. You know, that kind of stuff where I was watching it going, oh my goodness, I wonder if he's thinking, and then you actually typed it on the screen and I'm like, oh yeah, he's thinking that.
Yeah, I mean, the YouTube videos I put on, I don't put on many because they're a lot of work to produce. Hank Schumer, a good friend of mine, Pecos Hank, God bless him.
Oh, we just had him on a couple episodes.
He was on recently. One of the best video producers for storms, I think, is Hank. A lot of people say I come second. We ran into each other and sort of, I installed a tracking device to his car. He just doesn't know yet.
Yeah, but do you handle snake?
We ran into each. It's funny. That's the best thing about storms is you run into friends in the middle of nowhere. It's like I'm on Wyoming Road 1744 Farm Road sub on Bub. It's like there's my friend from Australia. There's my friend from Chicago. There's my friend from Slovenia, and we're just on the road in the middle of nowhere. That's what makes storm chasing special. Storms are a great part of it, but the best part is meeting up with friends and sharing that common love for storms. A big part of it is obviously storm spotting as well. I'll get into that a little bit later. But there's a lot to storm chasing, and anyone who goes there just for the storm is missing out on the best parts, which is your friends and sharing that passion, what we do here, and fun stories. That's the best part about storm chasing. Anyone who doesn't do that is missing out on so much.
So when you came to the U.S., Daniel, what's different with the forecasting tools that we have that we've got access to compared to what you've got in Australia? What's the difference there?
We've got a system called BSCH, which is not bad. The fact that we actually have something. I really don't bother forecasting in Australia. I'll bring up Google and just say, is it going to rain today? It might be thunderstorms. That's as far as I look. I might dial in a little bit more than that, but because we're not forecasting a tornadic event, don't get me wrong, I love this country. It's my home, but if I want weather, I go to America. It's that simple. The forecasting tools, everything we have available at our fingertips. I think we're spoilt for choice, and the tools available freely are just incredible.
Yeah.
But do you have like a network of radar sites like we do here in the United States?
Yeah. We do. They're not high resolution. We're using very basic apps. We have Doppler radar. You can see detail in them, but nothing like GR level 3. So chasing, you got to kind of sit there and go, what's that name of that town? You Google map the town, you try and work out where you are. There's no GR level 3, which was what we use for radar software. There's no radar scope. It's just a simple app, or you can have a weather zone app, and it's got some detail in there, but it doesn't have the same sort of resolution. Remember, the storms aren't really that big over here. We get decent storms, but nothing like, put it this way, you're not going to wake up and see half of Brisbane relocated into the Pacific Ocean.
So,
Brisbane,
but where you're a news director, correct? So
a national news director.
Okay, so how are you focused strictly on weather or all news?
I do. I'm shifting my efforts towards weather. I've covered news for nearly 20 years, I think 17 years now. Okay. But covering news these days, it's not like how it used to be. Information's scarce, and I think there's a lot. People don't appreciate media as much as what they used to. Media used to be a service. Now I think everyone calls things fake news. I think media is a very, very important part that should be respected. But again, everyone's after that sensational headline. I think covering important events, seeing how our emergency services function is an important part. Anywhere in the world, holding them accountable, supporting them, seeing the heroism, just how hard they work to support and look after public and property. I think it's amazing. I mean, I'm a proud volunteer. I do a lot of volunteering with St. John Ambulance. So I'm not a paramedic, but I'm an advanced responder. So it's a bit like an EMTB. Mm-hmm. And that was after the 2011 Joplin incident. I was well out of my depth and I had no training. So I've actually dedicated a lot of my life to supporting something which is very dear to my heart. So it's tricky because between a news director or a news camera crew or a producer of news, and you also have a medical side to you as well. So I understand from both sides, and it's hard. It's a hard industry to cover core news and see what's happening. Because I've seen it from both sides.
So do you see a future in weather in Australia as far as a news
Absolutely.
or media standpoint? Yeah.
Well, no, there's a media standpoint. A lot's changed in the past prior to starting Severe Weather Australia. I'll give you a quick synopsis of what we're doing. Severe Weather Australia was started to support the Australian Storm Chasers content producers. What was happening is media would just often take whatever they need. Sometimes they asked, sometimes they didn't, and they'd assume anything posted online was for free. What was happening is there was about to be I guess you could say, a war between storm chasers and media. I stepped in saying, look, don't worry, these are good, hard-working media. They're under a lot of pressure to produce news by a deadline. Let's work with them, support them. The cost models changed, mobile phones have changed. This broadcast camera, which may have cost $80,000, I can do this with a mobile phone at times. Depends what you want to do with it.
Yeah.
But what we're doing is we're making content affordable and accessible. Now we support 230 34 people, partner pages, and look after about 1.85 million people.
Wow.
Within 6 to 12 months, we'll probably be looking after just over 1/10 of the Australian population, and that's in about 18, 19 months. So a lot's changed, and I think it's amazing seeing our Australian content creators and storm chasers start to support each other, and I'm really quite proud of that. Really proud of that, and seeing how storm chasers are coming together, sharing each other's work. If media want to share that, they can hit share. They want to run it on their own bulletin, we'll pay a little bit of money, support them, support content. Otherwise, content will be dead. There'll be nothing left.
Now, Daniel, I saw that you were working on a project. I was reading on your page. It was called Hailstone. What is that? Can you explain
That's
it?
something you need to. It wasn't my project. It's something which I just was a part of shortly, but I had to break away from that on the Joplin incident. I found out whilst we're doing it. It's something I volunteered time with, but it's something which I was just a small part of. And it was just a project on intercepting hail, but I had to split from that after the 2011 Joplin tornado to cover it for media.
Okay.
When you were talking about how big the storms are, I was trying to grasp out there in Australia, because I keep thinking, well, it's the size of the United States. I'm sure they have big storms too. When I moved from Nebraska out in the plains to Ohio, the height of the storms decreased 20, 30,000 feet. And they were still pretty strong here, but nothing like when I went back into Nebraska and Iowa territory, where they were like 70,000 feet. What do you get for cloud tops out there?
You can get decent supercells out here. You can get good 40,000 foot storms, sometimes 50. But again, I'm in Sydney. Most of the stuff is shelf clouds, lower based. Where I chase is different. I go to America for the biggest and the best.
Yeah.
Nebraska, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, South Dakota. That's where you need to go. Oklahoma, you can get some amazing stuff.
If there's a place in Australia, if you could choose to be, this is where I'd want to be and chase, where would that be?
Southeast Queensland.
Okay.
Big spiders. Big.
It's not the cow that's in the tornado, it's a spider.
Many years ago, my dad killed a spider with a mop. The mop was standard mop, used to mop. Killed the spider. The legs protruded 3 inches outside. We actually discussed whether we should actually get a museum to come around or something like that. It was alive. It was on the wall. Huntsman spider. They move very, very quickly.
Oh my god!
They hide in your car. They come and I've had them sit just on my
God!
roof when I'm driving, and they just look at you. They jump down on you sometimes.
Are they
come to Australia? It's great.
On the inside?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, they come in. They hide in the door frame. When you open the door, they sneak in, and when you least suspect it at night, and you're coming home singing to yourself.
How does something like that sneak in?
Yeah, how do you not see that?
Sneaking in.
It's Australia.
Did they think it was like, like when you have an older person and they don't have their glasses on, they open the door to call the dog? And then
and then the kangaroo happens to slip by as well, right?
Oh my God.
I mean, look, you guys have tornadoes. We have spiders and snakes. I mean, it's a beautiful country, don't get me wrong, but everything here is trying to kill you as far as wildlife. It's not that bad. Come to Australia. It is a beautiful place. But if you go out back, you better know your first aid.
So have you been coming to the States every year then, lately? Is this an every year deal for you?
It's 14 trips. I'd have to work it out. I think it's 14 seasons.
And so now it's obviously not too. So the purpose of coming here, are you getting any business out of this then? Is it through your severe storms business that's creating some additional revenue, or what's happening?
I love going to America just to chase storms. I live stream. I do some amazing stuff. I actually report back to the Australian media as well. But again, Australian media is really after major events. So when big things happen, I'll help cover that for Australian media. And I think doing that is my greatest passion. But Australian media are really only interested when there's really big events. So unfortunately, there's got to be major destruction and death for something to cover. So I'd much rather come to America, enjoy myself over there, and chase a beautiful storm, and for it to not make the media. That's what gives me the most pleasure.
So do the people in Australia, are they looking for you to bring back video from the States here to show them what it's like, or is there an interest in that?
They care less, right?
No, it's something I choose to do. But for me, I actually, after what I saw in 2011, I mean, I thought storm chasing was fun and games and meeting up with friends. 2011 from Joplin, the Chickasha tornado, changed everything for me. Storm chasing no longer became fun. It became, I don't want to say a mission, but something dear to my heart. I saw the first effects of what really happened. And I did my first search and rescue. I mean, I was there as media covering it, and had this gentleman come up to me and says, "Mate, can you help me find my daughter?" I don't talk about this often. I said, I'm going to help him. I said, "Where is she?" "In there." And it was obliteration. I'm asking basic questions. "When did you last see her?" "I don't know." Fair enough. "Does she have a car?" I don't know. "Does she have a child?" "I don't know." Okay, maybe they're strange. Maybe they're not talking. "Is this her house?" "I don't know." Ooh, sorry. And he just started going, "We had propane leaking." I'm not trained for this stuff. I don't think anyone's really capable of understanding what happened that night. I did one. I got another volunteer emergency worker to stay with him because he was a danger to himself. He was going around the rubble. I'm sure there was a lady's body. Rubble.
Well,
I think the shock. I've never seen so much shock in my life.
He was shocked, or did he get hit in the head, or what?
No, he didn't get hit. I think his daughter got killed, but he was in so much shock he became a danger to himself. And I wasn't trained on how to deal with this, other than just being a human being and just assisting him. There was not much I could do for him besides making sure he was safe, and he was going through the rubble, and I'm sure the body was under there somewhere, but I don't know what.
God.
So I came back. I did my first aid course. I went, "Oh, that was really useful." It was a great 2-day course. But then I did my advanced first aid. I think I paid $500 for that. That was 5 days. I went, "This is still doesn't come close to touching it." And eventually, I became a volunteer with St. John Ambulance, and I joined because of training, but I stayed because of the people. And this is where you're going to have a plumber working with a surgeon. These are amazing people that have gone to become doctors, paramedics, and volunteer. A bit like a Red Cross, but we cover things like events, festivals, local fates and community things, major events. And it gives me a lot of satisfaction working with amazing teams. And a lot of my roles these days are of a command role, so liaison, working with police, ambulance, fire, rescue, national parks, and so I'll do a lot of comm work as well. So doing radio operations, and that's something which I take a lot of part in. So I've become, I think, the first person internationally to become a Skywarn storm spotter. I went down to Hutto, Texas to do my official course. I probably knew more about storms, but I did it officially. Just so at least it was done. Did my advanced training. Nothing beats actually being out there, though. Nothing beats. It takes years to learn. And I got my amateur radio license purely just so I could do storm spotting and amateur radio in America for no other reason than to help the communities I visit. And everywhere it is dear to my heart. And the feedback I've had, I mean, I dedicate a lot of my life for it, and I put Americans and the lives of others first over photos and videos. The cameras are all mounted. They can run themselves. When hell was breaking loose, if I can take part in that process, give good information, accurate information, quickly, concisely, calmly, which you'll see in the videos, that's what gives me the greatest pleasure. And I think it's a great honor to be a foreign national, to partake in that system. I can't think of a better reward than that. Far greater than any like or tweet you can put out.
How big is amateur radio in Australia, Daniel? Is it used much?
Nothing like America.
No.
I've never seen it used in emergency comms. I mean, it can be, but because I do emergency comms here with, I guess you could say, a volunteer ambulance service, amateur radio doesn't come into it. It's there if we needed it, but no one's really set up with it. I think they're one of the best setups, and I'm going to give great credit to Bernard's team up in Salina, Kansas. K-Link, the K-Link network, which is in Kansas, runs an amateur radio network which goes across the entire state. I can key up nearly anywhere in Kansas, and I'm welcomed in with open arms. I'm great friends with everyone there. And you can say this: break VK 2FSV, tornado 2.5 miles south of Salina, Kansas. Bernard, the emergency management goes, done. 7 seconds, the sirens are on. From picking up handheld mic to having sirens on is about 7 seconds.
Wow.
That's impressive. That quick.
He speaks Australian.
Yes, he does. Good friend. So big props to them and the team. And I mean, I'm welcomed all over the country as well. So for me, that's an important part of what I do. I'm not paid for it. It's something which, after 2011, I've seen what can happen firsthand, and I really don't want it to happen. I'd much rather chase like that double landspout day. I did one Spotter Network report if I was lucky, but it didn't hurt anyone. That was a perfect day. I think it was Cope, Colorado, or Seabird, Colorado. That was an amazing day. I just sat there filming away. Perfect day. But when shit hits the fan, to be part of that network, to be able to calmly give reports, that's the greatest reward. And I think everyone, and this is something I really want to make a point with, Corbin, God rest his soul, my dear friend. When we lost a dear friend, and my other friends killed him in an accident. We all know about that. And not to bring the show down, he was my protege with amateur radio. I remember helping him driving back from Texas to Oklahoma. And he watched all my videos. He wanted to get into amateur radio, got his license, following what I did. And I was helping him how to do a PL tone sweep, how to find a repeater. And I think every single storm chaser that says, I want to chase storms, get your ham radio license first. Get a radio on your car. Because I can tell you now, you can get 16-mile range on simplex when everything fails. You could hit the 146, 550 frequency, 70 centimeter frequencies, and actually hear real-time information. A bridge is out, power lines are down, people need help. We've got doctors, paramedics, nurses, first responders, firefighters out there chasing storms. And if they're all on amateur radio, and the good ones are, we've called for help on those frequencies. And that's the best thing I can promote to anyone who wants to chase. Get your ham radio license. I don't care how nerdy it is. That is what's going to really help you and others when you're out there. Share your passion, but when it goes to shit, know what to do and have the right training to help. Don't get in the way. Let the emergency service be there first. But most times, you're there first. Know what to do and have the right people with you.
So I'd have to imagine you've got quite the first aid. You bring some first aid supplies with you while you chase.
Yeah,
what do you have in your truck? Yeah, what do you have in your truck?
I've had it for years, even before St. John. I've actually got a full AED defibrillator. I think Mike Pendergast has one as well, which is good. There's actually another person out there who's got one full resus kit. I mean, if you need to use a defib out there, you're screwed anyway. It's probably going to be used on me for my eating fast food. I got one. That wasn't a joke. That was a joke. Things like just basic first aid, Band-Aids, the Band-Aid brigade, we're good at that. But it's the knowledge of knowing how to use it. The biggest risk out there, I think, for us is lightning. If you get directly struck by lightning, I think we're all dead. But if it's an indirect strike,
AED's not working.
Well, no, if it's an indirect strike, was it just enough to stop the heart? Unless you have an AED on site really within 3 to 10 minutes, you guys, you're gone. If you're
resuscitation wouldn't help. You need that, right?
Defib's the only thing that's going to restart that heart. Resus will really help in a drowning situation, but if it's a heart attack due to electrocution from a lightning, you need an AED. It's that simple. So if you're in remote Nebraska and a lightning strike's taken someone out, an indirect one, and someone started CPR right away, and someone had amateur radio, said, hey, Dan, are you nearby, using whatever call sign they want to use? And I'll stop what I'm doing and help them. It's not what I'm there to do, but I mean, I'd expect everyone to do the same for me. It's a community out there.
Yeah.
It's a family.
Do you keep your chase vehicle in the States then? Do you have you just have one in the States? Okay.
Yep. 2011, I bought a vehicle. It's expensive going to America every year. It's really expensive.
I bet.
Crap, you got car insurance you got to take care of.
Oh, God. Well, the thing is, my insurance is a fortune because it's not what I do. They know what I do. But if the issue is because registered in Las Vegas, everyone drives like, sorry to the Las Vegas viewers, please drive carefully so my insurance can come down. I'll do that. I've never had an incident. But, yeah.
Daniel, you want to raise some money? I got an idea for you. You know, the Huntsman spider thing? In America, we don't have a clue on that. You combine that with tornadoes like Sharknado, which is crazy, and make it Spider-Nado, that would make you money.
Yep.
Yeah, I dare you to come to Australia and play with them. You'll be running down the road.
Yeah.
I would be crying and running away.
All right, Daniel, I do want to ask you one last question because obviously we've had a chance to watch your video from El Reno, which you mentioned already. That was a crazy year. I'm curious to know what your day was like picking your setup that day, like waking up in the morning, picking your setup, and kind of how that day transpired to where, finishing with, good God, what you were in at that moment. How'd that day work out and plan out for you?
I survived.
Yeah.
You're speaking to a ghost right now. It's that simple. I should not be here. It's that simple. And God bless Chucky for driving into me. Long story short, it was the forecast was a no-brainer. Everyone knew where to go. It was a very clear forecast. It started off, I was there chasing with my friend Greg Ansell. G'day, Greg. How you going? From Arizona. He's a good guy, Greg. There was a pack. We stayed together all the way in case a car broke down, and we knew it was going to be a dangerous day. And Greg's trained in first aid as well. Where do you go with this? The long and short of it, there's a 1 hour, 11-minute video. I really suggest anyone who's never seen it, watch the whole thing, switch your phone off, and remember to breathe. Right. You watch, and G. Moore said this recently on my personal Facebook page, what events led to that day. And I said, watch the whole thing. I said, I put the whole thing on YouTube. There's only one bit which is missing is the audio when I get first hit by the truck.
Oh, jeez.
Very simply put, I made, I think, 11 risk assessments before we even went into that storm. I didn't know I was driving to El Reno. As far as, well, we could see it. I'm down there. We took our time. We drove down to it, watched it, went past it, doing 25 miles an hour, east-southeast, went north 2 miles, went across. It's behind us. Checking, I'm the only person on the entire Skywar net frequency, double-checking, triple-checking, should have looked at radar. I stopped looking at radar. I trusted the radio too much. And they didn't know what's going on as well. I don't think anyone knew what was going on. I drove right into it. I'm watching other cars coming towards me. I had Greg checking things as well. Long story short, if that truck did not hit me, I would have been killed. I was lucky because he was following me to work out. A lot of people look at the video and go, you're driving on the wrong side of the road. I'm not. It's a rear-facing camera, and the truck had already stopped once behind me previously. If you'd really watched the video, back about 5 minutes earlier, the truck had already stopped behind me, and he's just approaching. He's following me because he didn't know where to go. He should have stopped 20 miles back. Long story short, I get to the point where the trucks hit me. If I didn't make that first decision to pull forward, I would have been crushed to death. I made the decision to pull into the truck. Remember, Greg had already been killed. My storm chasing partner, Greg, was dead. Got him on comms. He wasn't there. He flipped frequencies when he tried to do evasive action for himself. So as far as I'm concerned, Greg's dead. I'm by myself. I've been hit by a truck. It's flipped over. It's sucked around. I'm inside a tornado, which doesn't exist. El Reno is still south of me. This is another tornado. I didn't realize this was El Reno. After a minute or 55 seconds, I make the decision, what can you do? Every warning light's flashing on my car because it's smashed out the back tire. I don't know if the axle was going to fall off. I think I got one move, turn the car into the semi, act as a pendulum, give it a bit more grip, stay on the road. But I've got one move. I make that one move. 6 seconds later, subvortice hits, picks up a half-loaded semi-trailer in line with a wind field, embedded in grass, and it still picks it up twice.
Wow.
By myself, I was matchstick into the wind. But because I made that move and made that decision to make that one move beforehand, it wasn't taken. That lasted 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And it got very, very graphic. Sometimes I wish I didn't have medical knowledge. I was working out specifically anatomically how I was going to die. I won't go into the details. It got extremely graphic. At one point, and I will share this with you guests, for anyone who thinks they want to, this is a safety video as well, anyone who wants to go chase a rain-wrapped HP monster, think about this. You're in a car with a fire helmet on, because that's the only protection I had besides clothing. And you strap your helmet on tight, you do the seatbelt up, lock it in place. Seat up as high as I can. So when the car goes airborne, and hopefully, please God, it lands on its roof, crushes my neck and closes my airway.
Oh, jeez.
That's what I wanted to happen. Because I knew I was going to die. I just wanted to be quick. So I was working out mechanically what's the quickest way to die. I'm thinking crush the neck. The best way to do it is to have, hopefully hit the roof and crush my neck. That's what I was expecting to happen. In the end, it didn't.
Jesus.
So anyone wants to chase an HP monster, and the whole thing I put on YouTube. I owned up to it. I screwed up. I went and drove into it. Even after doing all those safety assessments and risk assessments, and didn't lose situational awareness. I knew exactly where I was. I just didn't realize it had turned. I stopped looking at radar. I trusted other sources. You need to know what you're doing on days like that. Just back the hell away. And ever since then, people say, do you have PTSD from that incident? I did a little bit from the next year, but now I'm just careful. If it's HP rain wrapped, what are you going to see? I can see it. I'm dead. Wow, what's the video going to look like? Well, your car flying. Good luck selling it. Your estate might get a few dollars for it.
Right.
not going to help you. So think twice about when you want to chase an HP monster just to see that tornado. Be patient. It's going to cost money. You want to see some tornadoes? It's going to take time.
What's your confidence level now, Daniel, that you've got the first aid, the advanced first aid training and emergency medical training you've got to be able to, when you come across things like Joplin again in the future, how does that help your confidence level as a chaser? Because I think that's important for people to know that. I think that's a huge part of what you can get as a chaser.
I'll give you an honest answer. Less than what it was before. And any emergency service worker would say the same thing and say, good on you, Daniel, for saying it. Because I'm trained to the level I am, no one's prepared for that. Well, ambulances, from 5 states? Was it 150 dead? 1,000 injured? Hospital wiped out? Who can prepare? Oh, I've got a first aid certificate and some Band-Aids.
You're more aware of what you can't do is probably the problem.
I'm more aware
right?
of what I can't do.
Yeah.
The biggest issues, and I've been told by a lot of friends, power. One thing I do have, which is helpful, something called an AC hot stick when power goes down. And I've been taught this by people who do high voltage energy. I mean, I'm not remember to be trained this formally is a big course. Power lines being down is a big issue. Because they can recharge randomly. Sometimes when they go down, they can recharge in 15 minutes. Sometimes it's a couple, sometimes it's 5. So you got power lines down. Are they dead? Well, yeah, they look dead. They're not sparking. Well, they can recharge and re-energize. So you want to go and I'm going to go be the hero and go in and help people. Well, that power line recharges as a 22,000 volt line. You're dead at 30 meters. Yeah. And it's just a sudden recharge. So I carry the right gear to test it. But the thing is, rule number 1, check for danger, send for help. If you can help people nearby, set up triage where you are, be prepared for it and call the right resources and don't go in and be an idiot. Do it slowly, do it methodically, have the right people with you and do it teams of 2. Minimum if you're there first. If you're going to go by yourself, you're going to get yourself killed. So know what you can't do and be prepared to wait.
That's some good advice too.
And it's going to be harrowing, and if it's in a major situation, you are going to watch people die. Tornadoes can be amazing, beautiful, fun, but there's an ugly side to them. Know when to switch gears and know when to put the warnings first. That's
good. Well. Hey, on that note, what's the best way that our viewers, listeners can either find you, contact you if they've got questions, or follow you on social media, Daniel?
Best thing, if you're an Australian storm chaser, sign up to Severe Weather Australia.
There you go.
Course, 90%, 95% of them already have anyway, so that's beside the point. Severestorms.com.au, the Twitter account, Daniel Shaw AU. I'm sure you'll put the links out there somewhere. Type in Daniel Shaw, Storm Chaser. Daniel Shaw will find me really easily.
And
very good.
Daniel@spidernato.com. I'm just saying.
There we go.
That's it.
Sorry,
That's
just hold on a second. What was that domain name again?
Daniel@spidernato.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, he's in the future, so he should already know.
That's right.
Right? He's already in Friday, and it's Thursday.
Tomorrow is outstanding. I'm just going to have a sip of my pine water.
There you go.
Nice. Very good.
Well, hey.
Looking at him on the camera, if you could see on that white wall behind him a big spider crawling up the wall.
That would be freaky. Whoa! Hey, what's that sound?
Uh-oh.
I think it is time. Everyone's wondering what the hell's going on. What was that? It is time for our lightning round. So this is our game show of brilliant questions for our guest. We always invite everybody to play along as well. Tonight, we're going to play something I'm going to call 3 strikes and you're out. So 3 strikes and you're out. So it's played a little bit like Family Feud. So I'm going to pit Daniel. I'm going to pit you against the Freaks. The only difference with from Family Feud is you guys each are going to have a top 10 list, but they're different. It's a different top 10 list. And the goal is to try and guess one of the top 10 items. But if you miss, you're going to get a strike. And whoever gets to 3 strikes first is out, and the other person or the other team is the winner. Does that kind of make sense?
Uh-huh.
Kind of makes sense. Okay.
Everyone against me, but that's
so
fine.
here's what we've got, and Daniel, we'll start with you. So your goal, your top 10 list, is the top 10 things Australians think about America. Okay.
Oh.
So these are things
Sorry,
that
your audio's broken up there. I can't hear you.
yeah. So that doesn't mean you have to think these things, right? But these are the top 10 things Australians think about America. What's weird about what's going on in America that you've discovered? Okay, and this comes from the odysseyonline.com. So so I'll start with you. First question, you just got to pick, what do you think is one of the top 10 strange things that Australians think about America?
Your politics.
Yeah.
Our politics. All right, let's check.
I kept that pretty open-ended.
Yes.
Let's check with
That's
the
gotta be
judges.
the number one
You know,
answer.
and I'll say this, judges, what do you say on that? Ooh, yep, sorry, that's
no
not
way.
on the top 10. Now here's the challenge: is this top 10 list could have come out prior to 16?
Did it come out before 2016?
Yeah, it might have. So that's maybe not while it's on there, but that is a strike for you, Daniel. Sorry.
But you're right.
We don't play favorites.
I formally
We don't play
contest that
favorites.
one.
That's fair.
Yeah, I would too.
We got to update our list. Judges, let's update that list. Okay, they're going to check on that. All right, freaks. So where do you guys? And I'm just going to go down the line. So Maz, I'm going to start with you.
All right.
You're going to be the first one. You guys, your list is the top 10 things Americans get wrong about Australia. Comes from alternate.org. What are the top 10 things that we as Americans get wrong about Australia? Go ahead, Maz. What do you think?
There's crocodiles everywhere.
You know what? I'm
Thank
going
you.
to give you this. I'm
Thank
going to give you that there's koalas and kangaroos and wildlife literally roam the streets. So it wasn't specific
I
to
swear
alligators.
No, break. That is the biggest load of rubbish I've ever seen in my life. If you see a kangaroo, there was a kangaroo that hopped across the Sydney Harbour Bridge. It made international news. It's like, what's a kangaroo? It doesn't happen. If there was a kangaroo at Bondi right now, I'd be pissed. I wasn't there
Right.
to
No,
film.
and that's the point. These
right.
are the things Americans get wrong about Australia. So the
okay,
thing that's wrong. So it's a little different
They're
than
everywhere.
yours.
Oh, they're everywhere.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Is so that what we get wrong is that we think koalas and kangaroos and wildlife are just roaming the streets.
Well, it depends where you are, though. If you're in regional, sort of semi-regional,
Well-
they actually do.
Hey, you can take it up with alternate.org, okay? You go to them and
I
complain.
might just do that.
I don't care to hear it. All right, so we're back to you, Daniel. Top 10 things Australians think is weird about America, or something that you think about America.
Oh, I'm being so careful with what I'm saying here. We're about America, the gun laws.
The gun laws. So why do you say that? What's different than what the gun laws in Australia?
You guys don't
Guns are
have them.
banned here.
Yeah.
All our guns got. This is, again, it depends who made the list. If an Australian made the list, that would probably work. But if the American made a list, you wouldn't think about it. We banned guns, automatic firearms, years ago after a massacre.
Yeah.
Happened a long time ago.
Okay.
So that's my official answer. I know I'll get a strike for it.
All
but
right.
that's my
No,
political
I'm checking with the
statement.
judges, and judges say judges are going to give that one to you, Daniel. They're saying that equates to everyone is so nice and friendly in the United States that will let
He
people
deserves it.
carry guns. We've got those kind of gun laws. All right, let's go to the freaks. Dina, I'm going to you. Top 10 things Americans get wrong about Australia.
Maybe that everybody has to do you call it a walkabout? Does everybody do a walkabout?
What's a walkabout?
Isn't
Define
it?
that.
Is
Yeah.
that what it's called?
Yeah. It's a
What is
walkabout.
it? Define it.
I'm getting this from like Crocodile Dundee.
Exactly.
What is a walkabout?
Like where they go and they walk through like
The back bush.
Through the outback.
Yeah.
Just for fun.
yeah.
Okay, we got to check with the judges on that. All right, so we're going to give you Australians live in the outback. That's what we get wrong is we just think all Australians live in the outback. I'm not playing favorites here, Daniel.
I'll give you that one.
Hey, I gave you everyone is so nice and friendly for gun laws. So Daniel, we're back at you. You got one strike. Top 10 things Australians think about America. What else?
You drive on the wrong side of the road.
Drive on the wrong side of the road. You know, it's funny because I thought I saw that somewhere. But judges are going to say no, that's
Oh, wow.
not top 10. Not top 10.
Not the top
All
10.
right,
This is amazing.
MJ, we're to you. What do we get wrong about Australia?
Microphone.
Yeah, I got it. All they ever do is drink beer.
All they ever do is drink beer. They drink Foster's and a lot of beer. That's one thing we get wrong.
Foster's Australian for beer, isn't it?
So Daniel, I thought I read somewhere that your country is more apt to drink wine than beer. Would that sound right?
You will not find a Foster's if you go to any pub, bar in all cities. You cannot find a Foster's. I want you to retract that. Doesn't happen. Foster's, it's a marketing thing. Wine does exist. Yeah, absolutely. But no,
and so that's one thing we get wrong.
Beer.
That's what we get wrong about you guys. That was number 2.
Yeah.
So that was there. What was I going to ask you about? What's the American import, most popular American import to drink in Australia?
I don't know.
Like American beer? Do you see that in the pubs anywhere?
It'd probably be Jack Daniel's whiskey, but I don't think there's a heap of. I mean, I'm not really a big drinker. In fact, I'm a very, very boring.
Oh, you drink a lot of pine water. We've learned that.
Pine water is what does it for me.
Okay, all right. So we're back to you, Daniel. You got 2 strikes. We got to find one more thing Australians think about America.
That the entire country is populated from coast to coast.
Okay. Populated coast to coast. And that would be your 3rd strike. That was incorrect. So I'll quick run through this. Everything is so cheap. So we must be pretty cheap, inexpensive here compared to the costs in Australia. Why don't your crossing lights make noise? I guess your crossing lights make noises to cross the streets. Ours don't. What's with the 1 cent coin? Do you guys not have like a penny or a 1?
We used to, but we got rid of it. We ran to the nearest 5 cents.
You were smart. You were good. Okay.
Why
don't you add sales tax to the price tag? Why is your cheese orange?
That's a good one. Yeah.
Why is your cheese orange? Also, your portion sizes are huge. Are our portion sizes that big? Like big gulps?
I even know that. If you go to Las Vegas for a buffet, the portion sizes are huge.
Oh God, yeah.
That's
danger in America.
Apparently, we have a big liking for ranch dressing on everything. We have too much water in our toilet bowls. And you guys have no clue what the hell Fahrenheit is. And I guess we're a Fahrenheit country.
I quote Fahrenheit.
That's got to make storm chasing kind of tough. And then what we get wrong about Australia, you guys missed. You've got you're dangerous because you have killer wildlife. But crap, from what you said, that is true. Yeah, huntsman spiders running around.
Huntsmans are perfectly fine. They're just scary.
Okay. Also, we get wrong thinking you've got great human rights record and a Bill of Rights. Apparently, you guys do not have a Bill of Rights.
We have a constitution. I've never read it.
Okay.
Jim Jeffrey said it best. You guys
don't
studies there.
Yeah, you guys don't go around saying you're cooking shrimp on the Barbie. Your toilets don't flush in a reverse direction because you're down south. Aussies are fit and tan, and we've learned from your coloring tonight that's probably not true.
They don't all look like Hugh Jackman and Thor.
I swear I will delay this broadcast.
Yeah.
As long as I need. And they can all sit there painfully while I make it perfect.
All right. So anyway, hey, great job playing along with us, Daniel. We definitely appreciate that. Go ahead.
I got to ask Daniel a question. If I ever get down there, I heard this. I don't know if it's true or not. If you order 2 beers and you hold your hand up the wrong way for ordering 2 beers, is that a bad thing?
If you have a credit card and you pay cash, I'm sure it's fine.
No, like how do you signal your bartender 2 beers? Show me. Okay,
I say it. If it's for me and a friend or whatever, I just 2 beers.
But you can't turn your hand backwards and do that.
Mate.
You can't turn the hand backwards and do it?
I don't think anyone cares. I think they just want their money.
Hey, Maz, they flip people off down there all the time.
I don't know what it
really
was.
No big deal.
Okay.
We're larrikins. We're very easygoing. We're a friendly bunch.
There we go. All right, so hey, we've been talking storm chasing with Daniel. If you're like me and the freaks, you probably have got the itch to go storm chase right now. But the problem is this time of year is not necessarily ideal for chasing twisters. But no fear, because the Indiana Storm Chasers Convention is right around the corner and open to anyone excited about weather. On Saturday, November 17th, you can make your way to Indianapolis. You can hear from speakers representing the chasing community, National Weather Service, private weather businesses, and more. Registration's only $25 for the all-day event. And students, you can actually register for $15. If you want more information and to register before it fills up, go visit IND for Indiana, IND ChaserCon. Again, that's INDChaserCon.com to go ahead and register. We're going to take a short break. Stay right here. We've got our weather fools and our new weather trolls to introduce to you next. All right. First break, Daniel. Great job, buddy.
Thanks a lot, Daniel.
Man, your
Nice.
stories.
You're
we could
rocking.
just sit and listen to that.
I'm going to go contest on those questions, but that's fine.
Well,
And you can do that.
I think some of those answers were before 2016.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
I
they
think
were.
so, too.
I'm sure they.
Yeah,
And
but
it's,
no, but
you
no,
know,
some of those brought up, which was good. Yeah, that was interesting.
it's a frickin' blog, so I mean, it's whatever some person thinks.
I'm still pissed
I
off
just-
about my color balance. I know that's off. It's a red shift in there, and I want it all regraded. It's
All right.
not bad. I mean, it's
You,
I'll get
you
over
look fine,
You
brother.
look great.
You look
You
fine.
You have,
look
All
a
right.
good.
great, you have a great following on viewing tonight too. So thank you for bringing
Oh, really?
them all along.
Oh
Oh,
God.
that's I've got some fans. It's good.
You do.
So hey, Daniel, do me a favor. If you would do a quick sound plug, say this is Storm Chaser Daniel Shaw from Australia. You're listening to the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Didn't get this done in one take. Hi, I'm Daniel Shaw, and you're listening to the podcast for the Stormfront Freaks.
Perfect. Good job.
That'll work.
Nice.
All right, well done. Well
I
done.
wonder if we get that accent too.
All right, so hey, Brady is not here to introduce Weather Fools. So Maz, do you want to take Weather Fools?
I don't know. I'm looking at Huntsman pictures right now. Holy
Oh, you freaked out?
crud.
You're freaked out. God,
Look at the video. Someone
Daniel,
tried to
you've given
get
him
a container of
nightmares.
it.
You're gonna
Yes.
give him nightmares
Hey,
tonight.
you had
The
the brown
Huntsman
recluse.
spider, you
Thank
mean?
You had the brown recluse. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
we do.
That's
We
true.
do, but that's not that. It's not.
that's
As,
scary as well.
Because that one
All
will
right.
kill you stealth like.
so Maz, can you do Weather Fools?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so
Am I doing both?
You can. No, you'll come. I'm gonna do Weather Trolls just because it's a new one.
Okay.
I'll introduce that.
Oh, we're not
and
doing
I'm-
resources.
We're not doing
No.
resources.
Okay,
No.
okay.
So what we're gonna do? We're gonna start alternating. One episode we'll do Weather Fools. The other episode we'll do Weather Resources. We'll just alternate back and forth. Then I'm introducing some new ones to start a rotation here to keep things a little more interesting.
Is
Hopefully,
it 61? Episode 61?
we are episode 61. Yep.
61.
I have a Weather Fool.
And we are going overtime. I already know that segment went for at least 27 minutes.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
so
it
so
did.
so
Well,
we're gonna
I'm
try and be
just
quick because I
kidding.
don't want to shut the power down here on Daniel. So we'll try and get through this
No,
quick.
there was a negotiation that was done beforehand. You're lucky you got a broadcast today.
You told
my
him
God.
you know where his family lives, right?
I
Yeah,
see
that-
yeah, bring up the pictures of Huntsman. Yeah, they're the
Oh
ones.
my
He's
god!
just the speed of those
He's-
things. They're not deadly. They bite,
They-
but they can get.
That
bite.
sounds like they don't bite, but your whole face gets
Just take an
blown
arm
up
off.
like a
that's all.
soccer ball.
The size of the one I saw. Remember the movie Alien? It could have actually wrapped around my skull.
Oh my
And had
god.
those protruding across back to the head.
That's freaky.
That's.
Did you
they get
imagine
large.
waking up?
That is freaky.
All
All right.
The one you need to worry about is a different spider. It's called the funnel web spider. That can kill you in about 20 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ah.
Know your first
Is that
aid
big
before
or
you
is that
come.
little?
Know
all
your
actually.
first aid before you come to
They
Australia.
hide.
Yeah, no
Anyway,
kidding.
we're on time. Go for it.
Okay, so who's all got Weather Fools?
Phil.
I do.
Oh,
Dina.
nice. We'll have you go first, Dina.
Okay.
And episode 61, and then turn it over to me because I've got another announcement, and then we'll go to a final break and then come back.
Okay.
So you count yourself in. I'll applause you while you say welcome and all that
All
good
right.
stuff.
Cool. Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back. Oh, Brady. You know he's in spirit
Oh,
here with
Brady.
us right now, right? I know this is his favorite segment. I got to tell you, it is
It
kind of
is.
growing on me a little bit. It's time for Weather Fools. It's where you find video of people just doing dumb stuff that they know they shouldn't do, and yet they do it. Daniel, that was not for you, by the way. I didn't mean to do videos.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you're gonna be my next episode. Don't worry about it. I won't do it while you're
That's
here.
right.
Exactly.
What, the whole episode?
Exactly.
All right, Dina. So you have one tonight?
Yeah, and I've got to share my screen to do this because this is from News Flare, and this is you know how I always show people driving through flooded waters. Well, this is like one of the worst because this is a school bus in India that
Lord.
drove through this flood, and what do you
That water
thinking?
is moving.
It's
That water
moving.
is moving.
Yeah, how do you
And
miss
you don't
that?
know where, you don't know how deep it is, or if it's going to have like a sinkhole underneath.
Here we go.
Here goes the bus. Like, oh, we can get out.
Oh my
We
God,
can go.
that's
They
up
got
to the
lucky
lights, up to the
But
headlights.
They made it, but
Oh,
yeah,
they made it. Oh, yeah.
they did.
You know what
But
the kids are
Look
saying?
at all those kids. There's all these kids on the bus.
Oh,
It is a
it's
school bus. Oh my
ridiculous.
God.
They were saying,
and
you
there's
don't
like
understand.
those bars on the wall or the bars on the side of the bus. So if something happened,
Yeah, they can't even get out.
out.
But you
Yeah.
can't be late if you're tardy for school. You're
Oh
in
my
trouble.
god!
Yeah, you're in
dumb,
trouble.
dumb,
I've
dumb.
I've been emailing our ambassador, U.S. ambassador in India, telling them you've got to introduce "Turn Around, Don't Drown," and they're
right.
working on it. They're working on it.
Okay.
They haven't shared it yet, but they're working on it.
Did you really?
No,
Okay.
but hey, we should because we are ambassadors, Weather Ready Nation ambassadors. We should because that might not just be the U.S. right?
true.
That could be the world. We could be worldwide Weather
There
Ready
you
Nation
go.
ambassadors.
Since when did common sense just disappear? Was it like 2004?
Yeah, do you have to
2006?
be in a certain country to have common? That's
Yeah,
a good point.
there isn't any
point.
around here anymore.
Just saying.
Good point.
Yeah, but I'm in a hurry, so I'm going to take a bunch of kids across this flooded roadway in a bus.
Yeah. It's fake common sense.
Yeah.
Fake common sense.
All right.
Oh, sorry. I forgot it. Still,
Yeah,
I'm so used to Brady.
Maz is not used to doing weather.
I know.
Fool.
I'm like,
Well,
okay, Brady. Oh, it's right, Brady. Okay. So, Phil, you've got one, right?
I do have a weather fool, and it's a little bit along the lines of what Dina had. It is also a flooded driving situation. However, this is from Twitter. This is care of care of Live Storm Chasers, livestormchasers.com, and it is a old grandpa who's got his little scooter, and he is driving through flooded waters in his little scooter. And he's got his nice little flag
That's
behind him,
hilarious.
so he knows this guy probably visits Uptown quite a bit.
He's
But
moving.
he just said,
moving.
this flash flooding in my street is not going to stop me from getting to the drugstore.
It's a no wake zone.
You know what? I've got a really big issue with that. Do you know what my issue is?
What is
It was
that?
filmed vertically. Everyone.
That's what you saw.
Ah,
So we're all watching
Everyone.
Grandpa in the
Shut up.
flood.
See this? See this little phone here? Okay, it's not that hard. It's so hard to turn your camera that way. Okay,
Oh.
look at your TV. Seriously, get your TV, mount it vertically, and see what happens. And watch it crash to the floor. Everyone, this is a mobile phone.
amazing.
All
The
right.
camera. Turn the camera sideways. Public safety announcement.
You
Continue
are
on.
you're a video. Yep, you're a video. What do you call that? A video,
Video snob.
Video
Angry.
snob.
Yep.
Video
Angry.
snob.
Yeah.
We're
With
all
the
watching
correct
Grandpa
color
go
balance.
through the flood, and Daniel's going, "Why the hell are they taping
Shooting
this
vertically.
vertically?"
Absolutely.
All right. So if
I'm
you want to
right.
see Grandpa and any of the other videos we've shown you so far, you're not sure what the links are, you can check them out on stormfrontfreaks.com, episode 61 show notes. Is that right? Is that
That's right. You
All
got
right.
that right. And
All
hey,
right.
one thing I want to share too is we've got Daniel here from Australia. We talked about Indiana ChaserCon. We can't forget our friends to the north when it comes to storm chasing. Fortunately, there's an upcoming opportunity in Canada as well, coming up in just a short few weeks on Saturday, September 29th. You can attend the ChaserCon Canada, which is going to be in Winnipeg, Manitoba. It's open to all weather fans, and you can still get the early bird price of, get this, $52.22. And that's Canadian dollars, by the way. So if you happen to live in Buffalo, New York, and you want to cross the border and head to it,
$6
it's going to
here.
be less than that, right? You can go ahead and register at their eventbrite.com site. So that's Eventbrite, which is BRITE.com. Go to that site. Go ahead and search ChaserCon Canada. You'll find it there. They've got great speakers, including past guest, friend of Daniel, but he's an Emmy-winning storm chaser. Michael Binsky is going to be a guest
Oh, yeah.
up there at ChaserCon Canada. So again, go to eventbrite.com to go ahead and register. So we're going to take our final break. You can refill your drink when we come back. It is going to be time for our new segment. It's called Weather Trolls. And as I said earlier, this is either going to be a big hit or it's going to be a big bomb, but we certainly need you to let us know. We'll be right back. Okay. Very good.
Didn't it used to call it tools?
I was just going to say.
It did. I just changed it. I just changed it on the way home tonight. I thought, Weather Trolls is probably actually a better name for this segment.
But it actually makes a lot more sense.
Right.
I kept looking at weather tools. Okay, he's a tool. I get it.
He's a tool. Well, and that was actually when I brought this up on Twitter, I was talking about this idea, and it was Helicity Designs that said, call it Weather Tools because of our Weather Fools. He said, call it Weather Tools. I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty good name. But then I thought, Weather Trolls is actually a little better. So we're going to do Weather Trolls. And like I said, I'm all set to do this. This is either going to work really well or it's going to suck.
I have this deep down satisfaction knowing they're all going to have nightmares thinking about spiders tonight.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You had to say that again, man.
You freaked the hell out of everybody tonight, Dana.
How big's the funnel?
Right.
The funnel spider.
Huh?
How big is the funnel spider?
Oh, it depends. Not sometimes small, about that size.
Jeez.
And that's
Nothing
small.
They love. Oh, they can get a little bit bigger, around about that size. They like to hide in shoes.
Oh,
If you're out.
I hate those.
Oh, God, I hate that.
Not the outback,
I
but
hate
just
those
out
kind.
partially regional. They'll hide in your people's shoes. You put your shoes on, and their fangs are so sharp they'll go through your toenail.
Oh, jeez.
Ah!
All right.
They're deadly. Yeah.
That's
If you call
I'm done.
New South Wales ambulance, say I've been done by a funnel spider, and you're regional, they'll send a helicopter. Most. Yeah. You got to get to
my
hospital really
God.
quickly.
I'm going to have to research how many Australian deaths from funnel spiders every year.
No, they're quite rare because people are preventative, and a lot of ambulances regionally will carry the anti-venom in the ambulance. Just depends where you are.
Is there like a spray or something?
No. The anti-venom will be IV.
No, not the antivenom. But how do you avoid them?
Just don't leave your shoes out and put your shoes on outside the door.
No, I mean, we're like,
Don't
down
go
here-
Before you put
outside.
your shoes on, there's hitting the shoes on the floor, so there's no spider inside.
Because here
All
in
right.
the south of the United States, I mean, we have big bugs too. Nothing like that, but you spray your houses quarterly, like every 3 months, you spray your house.
Right.
Hey, MJ, do you got listener questions or responses that you're
I
going to
got
cover?
one. I got one.
Okay. All right, we'll do. So I'll come back. I'm going to do the Weather Trolls. You guys feel free to comment as I go through it. And then I'll turn it over to MJ, and then I'll close this out.
Cool.
We'll be done. Okay. Everybody ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2. All right, hey, everybody, welcome back. I'm excited. We're going to be introducing a new segment. We're going to call this Weather Trolls. And we've been scouring social media for examples of ridiculous comments made to television meteorologists and other well-known weather people to then go ahead and enter into so we've got this one-of-a-kind Weather Troll Bot 5000. So we just purchased this from the massive bank account that we have here at Stormfront Freaks Podcast.
Drained it, you did.
Yep, and this is a one-of-a-kind. It's called the Weather Trollbot 5000. So we enter it into this computer, and then what it does is we're going to discover what our weather friends were really thinking when they responded to that foolish comment. So we'll enter this in. So let me share with you we got a couple. I'm going to, and like I said, I don't know what this thing's going to spit out tonight. So this is why this could be a bomb, or it could spit out some really interesting information. But the first one I'm going to go to, so Aubrey Urbanowitz. So some of the freaks, you might remember Aubrey was an episode 10 guest.
Wow, that long ago?
But she's a TV meteorologist at WHSV in Shenandoah Valley, Virginia. And she had this comment sent to her from Joetta. So this is Joetta. She's our weather troll. She said, Aubrey, I love your weather spot. You do a wonderful job. It's pretty nice, right? I am, however, wondering why you wear the same style dress over and over again. I think someone's making them for you out of the same pattern, but with different colors. You really need to change your style a little bit. You're so attractive, and these dresses are making you boring. So that was the troll. So Aubrey actually responded to this on Twitter. She said, apparently my dressings are boring. I guess comfortable and professional is boring. But I'm also more than a dress. I'm a scientist with a skill. Would you say the same to make anchors who rotate between 5 to 6 suits? She did hashtag double standard, hashtag more than a dress. So here's what I'm going to do. This is how this works. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to punch this into our Weather Trollbot 5000. So I'm going to type this in just a second. All right, and then we're going to kick out. We're going to find out what this thing's going to say. And so let's see what the bot has to say.
Here is what Aubrey was thinking. Are you really wasting my time and yours with feedback about my dresses? I would love to see your fashion degree or find out what makes you an expert. Me? Well, I guess my bachelor's degree in meteorology and my National Weather Association seal of approval aren't enough to focus you on my scientific skill at forecasting your weather. Do you give a fuck about anyone else at our station wearing the same suits? How many professional outfits do you own, you weather troll? I'm calling for a wet, cloudy day in your boring life.
Okay, well,
Wow.
I didn't realize Aubrey was thinking that throughout the day, but
Okay.
wow.
I think the weather bot needs to be taught about broadcast standards.
I did get the weather bot on sale, so that certainly could say a lot about what we're kind of getting in response here. But I got one more. We're going to try another one here. This one is Jeff Beamish. He's a TV meteorologist at KVOA TV in Tucson, Arizona. So you've probably been down there a few times, Daniel. So here was the comment. This came from one of the viewers, Connie. Said, I might as well ask my dog to predict the weather as you. You have all that equipment, and any moron could have looked at the sky and predicted thunderstorms, but not you. Yesterday you said today would be 40%. Then today you said 30%. Quit flirting with Miss Prissy and do your job. You're paid to accurately predict the weather. When I was a little kid, the guys on the radio with very little equipment did a better job than you. The farmers would have fired you in short order. At least you weren't hired for the size of your boobs like Channel 4. And Mr. Mumbler couldn't hold his job in any other market except the Tucson dumbass market. Don't you people have to take diction and pronunciation? So yeah, that was a friendly comment. So here's how Jeff responded, right? This was his actual response on Twitter. He said, actually, this might have been Facebook, but said, hi, Connie. Yep, I fully admit yesterday's forecast was not great. I've had a few forecasts go awry during my decade in the desert. Further proof that weather is and always will be an inexact science. That being said, please consider what you publicly post on social media. We are human after all.
That was nice.
Yep. So here's what I'm going to do, because I'm curious what Jeff was really thinking, right, when he typed that up on Facebook. So let me enter what Connie posted here, and Jeff.
I'm concerned what Jeff was thinking.
Okay, and we're going to go ahead and see, do a little calculations, and let's see what Jeff might have been thinking.
This is what Jeff was thinking.
Okay.
What's up, Connie? Obviously not your shitty attitude.
Oh.
Yep. I was a bit off on yesterday's forecast. If you've lived here for long, you might have a clue that this time of year can be tricky with where storms will decide to pop up. Sounds like you might be happier with the Farmer's Almanac in your hands. Send me your address and I'll deliver one to you. While you're at it, send me your work number so I can do a reference check to confirm that you are operating at 100% perfection in your job. Because if not, I'll ask the farmers to fire your ass too, since in your world they employ us all. Have a nice fucking day.
Okay. So apparently that's maybe what Jeff was actually thinking. I don't know. We'll have to ask Jeff how close our Weather Trollbot 5000 really is on sale. But anyway, so here's truthfully, if any of you guys listening or watching, if you like that segment, send me an email at phil@stormfrontfreaks.com and send me any links to other situations like this where you've seen weather trolls saying just stupid, ridiculous stuff to your weather friends, and how they've responded. And we can go ahead and plug that into the Weather Trollbot 5000 in future episodes and find out, I guess, what kicks out. So I'm going to, MJ, turn it over to you. Any questions, responses from our listeners and viewers?
Well, we had Jennifer Brindley Ubel, who was a guest, I think, in the past for us. She just checked in after the Karen Kosiba episode and said real hero material and a little little heart. So thanks, Jennifer, for checking in on that. Appreciate it. Everybody else, give us your feedback on Twitter or Facebook or on your favorite podcast app.
Absolutely. All right. Well, hey, I think that just about does it for this episode of Stormfront Freaks podcast. Thanks for listening and watching. Before I reveal our next guest, if you enjoy our show, do us a favor, leave a great review on your podcast app as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the show by hitting your podcast app subscribe button. Works just like a magazine or newspaper subscription, and it assures the latest show gets delivered right to your inbox the moment we release it. Special thanks to our guest tonight, Daniel Shaw. Thank you, Daniel. It was a pleasure having you on, my friend. Thanks for taking the time and scaring the crap out of us with all your spider stories. Our next episode is going to be in 2 weeks. We'll be recording on September 20th with atmospheric scientist at NASA's Airborne Science Program, Ed Teets, is going to be our guest. If you'd like to watch the recording live at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, check out our YouTube channel by searching Stormfront Freaks. So for MJ, I see Maz has already left for some reason. Brady's not here. I had him in the script, but he never showed up. So I'm just saying MJ right now, Dina, and for Daniel, I'm going to go ahead and signal the all clear, and we'll catch you all next time.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody. All right, Daniel, thank you so much for taking the time, man.
Thanks. And we're still live on YouTube.
We are still live. You want us to cut it?
You have a lot of fans there.
This is the best. This is the best stuff. So I got a story for you. I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Thank you all for having me. That was great. Apologies for the offset color balance. I can see from my broadcast device.
You look fine. You look great.
I can see the color temps out by like 150K.
I know.
Orange.
So what the hell do we look like? We got to look like
we're horrible.
Frickin'...
I got all this in my background.
It's a bit washed, and I got dumb. I was gonna take it to the next level and actually wire in 4 cameras because I got 3 broadcast cameras in front of me, just to bring this up to the next level. I mean, I've got more gear in my car than NASA.
We'd be like doing Weather Fools, and you're going camera 2, take camera 2, ready, camera 3, take camera 3.
I was going to do it, but then I had to route audio through the audio. So I was just going to randomly switch cameras just to mess with you all.
Oh my god!
But
because I was going to set that up, but because we'd had this electrician around having some issues. Apparently, water. We had not a storm, but some rain. Water got into some lighting, and just it's triggered one of the circuit breakers that took out the internet, and so I went and repatched it. It's all good.
We'll have to have you on again so you could show us all up even further with your camera expertise and
we'll do it
producing
in the field
expertise.
One day from my car in America.
We need to do that. We need to do that.
That's a setup and a half.
It would be. It would. Well, and plus you'd have to make sure you are in a location where we're getting. We've tried that in the past where we've tried to do some streaming from people out in the field, and it was hit and miss.
Yeah.
I've been doing internet streaming for over 20 years. My first broadcast was in 1998.
Okay.
That's got to feel old.
They had internet back then?
A long time. We did. We used to run on 56K modems, 33.6K modems and uplink.
Yeah.
We used to argue over
string.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it was the old days.
We've done guests out in the plains that have been in hotels. And hotel Wi-Fi just sucks as far as the speeds go, and we're barely getting a signal.
Yeah. No, you need a good 2 megabit uplink stable. But it'd be nice to have one actually in the field. But then you need a reverse model like this. I've got 3 monitors set up. I mean, I'm running a broadcast camera. Look it up. PDW F850 is what I'm using. I calibrated it yesterday, but because now we have some daylight coming in, it just changes the color temp just a little bit, just throws it off. But more importantly was negotiating power to make sure we had a link.
I'm glad you did that. That's for sure.
Oh no, we had it in time, but otherwise I would have run the whole thing on batteries and would have changed everything. We would have gone live 5 minutes later. I've done it before, but it added some challenge to the production today. It was good.
That's all right. No, it's good.
Like I say, Daniel, you had a lot of your friends watching here and in the chat. They were having a good time. So,
they're always having a good time
they
on
all
YouTube.
say hi.
It all happens. G'day, everyone. Hope to be back soon. Just, every year is a blessing for me. So it's an expensive trip, and there's a lot of factors that go into it. It's logistically, it's a major undertaking.
Sure.
So, and some years are challenging, but I mean, this year, because we're now overtime, but we can keep going, can't we?
Yeah.
If you want.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
What were you saying?
This year, I mean, we had a bit of a death ridge, I guess you could call it. Not much happening. I went to Newfoundland. It was wow.
God, how'd you get up there? Did you drive up there?
I started. Well, this is a story in itself. This will be interesting. There's some bonus material for those that are watching. I was in Kansas. I met up with Mike Olbinski and Stephen Locke, Brian Davidson. We had Joe's Barbecue in. It's actually Kansas City, Kansas. I thought it was Missouri. It's actually Kansas. Then after that, I left to go to my dear friends in Toronto, Canada, George Kouris, Mark Robinson, Jack and Whittle, all my friends up there. So we haven't seen them for a while. So went up to Canada and to Toronto. Then I went up into Quebec to meet up with Matthew Lucia. It was fun. One of us, I can't remember, I think Nicholas, I can't remember his surname. Matthew Lucia speaks French.
Sure.
But doesn't speak English. And I'm in Quebec, and he's in Australian Quebec. Oh God, this is hysterical. He's having to translate. We're in Tim Hortons having a hot chocolate and poutine or whatever it was, and he's translating Storm stuff in French to Australian, or in this case, American.
Oh my God!
English. This is hysterical. This before I go to Quebec, and it was the funniest conversation. Anyway, so I get up to northern Quebec after I leave Quebec City, go up to New Brunswick. I'm driving to Newfoundland. I had to get a flight across. It's a bit of a diversion from Colorado. Little. And I'm in this Tim Hortons place. They're all speaking French. Bonjour, Monsieur Glacier Ice. I'm trying to speak French. My French sucks. And Brad, God bless him, Brad and Dana from the Weather Network, some of my greatest friends. Brad speaks fluent French. He said, Dan, you idiot. You just asked for ice. I'm thinking, oh yeah, glacier, iced, glacier. Oh yeah, whoops. But I got my iced donut. I got my iced coffee. It was embarrassing. They didn't know who I was, but it's a story we can share. Then anyway, I went up to New Brunswick, and then I went to Nova Scotia in my RAV, my storm chasing RAV in Nova Scotia, got a flight to St. John's, Newfoundland, and I went up to Bonavista. This was the best part of the trip, and I had an iceberg beer from the Quiddy. I'm not a big beer drinker. Wow. This stuff's amazing. They take icebergs, tow them in, cut them up, melt them down, and make beer with them. They are the purest beer you've ever had.
Wow.
You don't get them in Newfoundland. Beautiful, incredible beer, like $7 for a beer. Anyway, so I ended up going onto a boat, and we're chasing an iceberg through a storm. It wasn't forecast a storm, but it actually got really, really rough. So I went all the way out to almost the North Atlantic Sea. I was actually closer to Iceland than I was to Colorado.
Wow.
And that was actually the highlight of the entire trip. The Landspout Day was pretty amazing. Tesco Tornado was amazing.
So
but the best part was actually
the
Landspout Day was incredible. I haven't done the video for that yet. Because I shot it on 5 different cameras, but that was just, I've got a Landspout. It was actually, I think, a full tornado, but pretty sure Landspout at the time. In front of me, I'll turn around to get another camera, and another one forming about 400 yards away behind me.
Oh, wow.
So that was an incredible day, the Cope Seabird Tornado Day. So it was an interesting trip, but the highlight was meeting up with some great friends. That was the best part.
Yeah, even if you don't hit the storms. That's always the best part anyway. So,
when you meet up with we took a great photo of myself, Jeremy Holmes, Michael Binsky, Greg Ansell. We one of the last storm chase we did. We all just got in front of our cars, jumped on top of my cars, and had a great shot.
Yeah,
we took
I saw that on Twitter.
Photos. That was the best part. And I give Mike hell. Mike's as far the best time lapse on the planet. I look at his photos. I think you're a little bit out of focus. I do some terrible things to Mike.
Oh, he's a snob with that too. He's probably watching, but yeah, he's a snob with that.
G'day, Mike. How you going?
That's why he's great.
I give them hell. It's just have fun with them. Say, hey, I think you're a bit. I think there's some sensor dust in the. What? It's just terrible things. Because they would look at me. Oh, Dan, he knows what he's doing. No, I milk that and have fun with that.
You can get away with that because you know all that stuff. And with someone like me, I could say something like that, and he wouldn't bat an eye because you
Bat an
know I
eye.
have no clue what
That's
I'm
the-
talking about.
That's the best part, is the friendships out there. I mean, for any new storm chaser wanting to get into it, it is a passion. It's going to cost you a fortune. But this, I suppose, another point I want to make is so many people think they need to give their stuff away to get a name. I can tell you now, as a semi-experienced veteran, what do you want to call me, storm chaser, someone who loves what they're doing. If you want to make a name for yourself storm chasing and want respect from the best, tell you what, if you put your stuff online, watermark it correctly, and try to license it, even if you don't sell it, you have more respect from the other storm chasers because you take pride in your work.
Sure.
You want to give your stuff away to media thinking, I'm going to make a name for myself, all you're doing is devaluing an industry. It costs a fortune. So you want to get respect from people, value your content, no matter where you're in
That's
the world.
not what Dina
Watermark
wants
it.
to hear.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, Dina.
Yeah.
I know.
Dude,
Like,
But the thing is,
your
but
video,
make
please.
the content affordable and accessible. Don't say, I want $50,000 for this. Be reasonable. We're talking more than gas money, but the cost of production to produce content, the risk to your life and everything else, adorable. The risk to your life is so great that if you need a return on it, know what to charge and charge a fair price. And the best part's international. People just don't tap into an international market. And that's what I do as a
That's
news
true.
director.
There's some
it-
stuff that I don't know how they're charging what they're charging.
I mean, someone might say license something to AP or Reuters for a couple of $150, $200, and it goes to 6,000 networks around the world. Look after licensing yourself for international. Say, make it affordable to North America. Charge what you want to charge for North America, and say no international feed. Someone from Europe and Australia or anywhere in the world wants to license it, charge them $200, $300 a video. It's affordable. You do that by 300-400 people, and that's quite profitable. But don't risk your life getting the video, because all you're going to do is your state's going to get it. Someone else, not you. Have fun with it.
Alrighty.
All right,
anyway.
guys, I got to go to
I'm
sleep.
losing
Fun
people.
broadcast.
I got to get up in about 4
Thank you all
hours.
for having me.
That was fun.
It was
Gives
an
people
absolute
some
blast.
extra content who are watching the video. Good.
Have a
I'm
blast.
losing
Think happy
people.
thoughts about all the spiders and
Uh-oh.
everyone.
my
I'm losing bandwidth.
I got to go
or
to
something,
bed
but
now. I'm going
losing
to have
people.
naghtmares. Thanks, Daniel.
My pleasure.
All right, there we go.
Enjoy
Seriously,
your
though,
pint
I
water,
really-
everyone.